Well, good afternoon, boys and girls. We're having to do our little intro in the Jeep today instead of outside the Jeep because where we're hunting today, I've got to kind of be really quiet when I get out of the Jeep. You'll see me hunt some crazy stuff up here. But today we're hunting an abandoned mobile home park. It's exactly what it is. It's 11 double wide trailers that's not been anybody in them for like 20 years, and the owner has let me hunt it, and because people were tearing up the trailers and the maintenance got to be more than the rent, so and they trashed the place. So he just basically kicked everybody out and shut it down. But it's got a little 17-acre, like a triangle behind it. It's got a roadbed down one side with a creek bank down it, and several, I don't know if I'd call it a subdivision, but the houses are pretty close together. There's several houses down this side of it. It's over here right now. We're coming into it. A road that cuts through the back of it, which is actually goes through the mobile home park. On the other side, we have a hayfield and a couple more houses and a big pasture. And one of those guys over there hunts as well. But where I have to park is inside the mobile home park at the last trailer to get in here. Now, the yards to these mobile homes have literally grown up. Golly, there's a deer. I should have known. Full moon. They've literally grown up with nothing but like dog fennel, shoulder high, wait a minute, vines. Okay, that's a yearling standing there. I ain't too worried about that. She's just gonna stand there and let me drive by, too. 20-foot black gums, 20-foot poppers. It's just impenetrable. The yards have just turned into just giant, thick, nasty messes. And of course, the deer have started bedding in the yards to these old mobile homes because it's just so thick in there. So I have to park at one, so it's kind of like I got to be really quiet when I get out. It's kind of like if you live in a city, you know, you're used to hearing like cars with loud music go by, dogs barking, kids playing in the street or whatever. But if somebody slams a truck door in your bedroom, you wake up. So that's what we're dealing with as far as why we're talking in the Jeep instead of outside of the Jeep. Now, what we're hunting today is basically it's a knoll. It's kind of a bench. It goes out. It's got kind of like a little ridge around it, and there's three big white oak, well, not big, medium-sized white oaks, and a huge red oak on it. And one of the medium white oaks, on bad years, is still one of the only trees in here that will produce on a bad year. And because of the hurricane blowing everything out, and everything when it come through, the acorn crop is not real good right now, and the big oaks in here are not producing. They're not really dropping, but this tree is. Now, full disclosure, there is a feeder hanging in that tree. It's empty. I kind of wish it wasn't. I hang it in there, and I'm sorry, my sinuses. I hang it in August. I fill it up. I put a camera on it to kind of get an idea of what's in there. I go back and I went back at the end of August. It was empty. I filled it back up at the end of August, beginning of September, and I took the camera off and moved it to a different spot. Just put the camera back in here a couple of weeks ago. But even with the feeder empty, because of the fact that I've had a non-natural food source in there, these deer don't walk straight to this point or straight out on this point off their trails like they would a standard oak tree. They circle it. And this bench has got a surrounding of pines around it. And they loop through those pines. And there's one particular place you'll see them come in to where this it's kind of open up there on it. It's maybe 40 yards wide. But there's one particular place you see them come in on the camera, but that's not how they're getting there. I've set back observation sits 80, 100 yards off of it with binoculars on other trees and watched it. And you'll see deer come into those pines here, come into them here, come into them over here, and every one of them, they lip. And if depending on which way the wind's blowing, if the wind's this way, they're lipping it this way. If the wind's this way, they're lipping it this way. So they circle before they come in, and I'm talking like a full C circle. So I get busted in there a lot. So today I've got a wind that's actually agreeing with the thermal draft, and it's actually blowing in the only direction that I can look at and go, okay, they shouldn't be coming from that direction. So that's what we're going to do. I do have a preset. I do get to hunt on the Ranger. Thank God. I've been hunting off that little Predator, one sticking for the last 3 or 4 hunts, and it is just, well, there ain't no doubt of where to put your feet because you ain't got one place to put them. But I am looking forward to that. But we're going to go ahead and ease in there and get set up. I just got to be really quiet getting out. I can talk a little bit once I get up there and get away from these beds and these trailer park yards and everything. I can talk a little bit more once I get up there. But I've had as many as 9 does in one camera picture, but I've also sat there and only seen one yearling come in. There's a few young bucks. They really need to steer really clear today. I'm very finger happy. I'm a traditional shooter. I don't have a release. I shoot fingers. So that's my version of being trigger happy. I I think I've seen 2 deer and only had 1 shot on them in like the last 8 hunts, and it was a yearling, so I didn't shoot it. But I'm getting really antsy. All these guys on Facebook posting these giant deer. They're like, look, my first trad buck, and holding a 130 like this, and I'm like, dude, my first trad buck was 1985, and it was a raggedy little 6-point. It's like my first trad buck, But I'm anxious. I'm ready to kill something. So if they come in, they're in bad trouble. I've got to live up to Todd Kennedy's reputation on me. If it's brown, it's down. So let's just go on in here and see if we can't get something going, guys. All right, y'all, we up. This is the main oak that's dropping right here. This oak here is dropping a little bit. The red oak that's dropping is here in front of me. It's not that one over there. It's not. I've not seen anything over there. But we got in here pretty unprotected, other than that little yearling when we first took off. Been pretty quiet coming in here, so we're gonna sit here real quiet. I left my hoodie. It's not cold. I've only got about 2.5 hours to dark, so. I had another base layer in my pack. I just slipped it on. We should be all right as long as this wind don't pick up. Y'all stick around. Let's see what happens. Not what I wanted to do. Well, that wasn't what she read the script, but it wasn't. I'm gonna have to get on the porch and do some form work. My shot's gone to crap. I really rushed out when I was getting nervous, getting antsy. I'm wanting to kill one too bad. And she caught a little whiff of something. I noticed her step her foot. She'd already walked off once like she was gonna leave. Took her forever to come in. She circled back. That's an older doe. When I went to drop the bow to come down, she picked up on me. She seen me. And she moved her head, and I'm like, her front leg, her onside leg it slipped forward, and I said, there it is, but you're gonna have to shoot and shoot now. And I snapshot again. Made a crap shot. Looks like it went through her shoulder and into her spine. That's a 2-inch wide broadhead. It wasn't gonna kill her, I don't think, though, so I went ahead and put a second one in her. It's always worth it, no matter how much arrows cost me, and you don't want the animal to suffer no more than it has to. But that's one of the ins and outs of us hunting now, isn't it? Sometimes it's all pretty, sometimes it's not. So let's get down and take care of her. All right, guys. Well, we got her. No thanks to my shooting, that's for sure. We're definitely going to have to work on that. I can sit here and preach it online and preach it online and preach it online, telling people, you know, shoot your shots, settle, let the animal settle, let yourself settle. I shot tonight like a year one rookie, and it's like I said earlier, I killed my first one of these in 1985. So it's been a long time coming, but I just rushed a shot. I snapshot horrible. I'll have to look at the video, see just how bad I looked. Not gonna hide it, I'm gonna post it. I just sent a buddy of mine a video today, standing in the yard making just pretty controlled shots as you can, because a snapshot on the first one, turn around and did it again. It's almost like my target panic's trying to slip back in. Some people can snap shoot pretty good. I don't hold long. I normally don't hold but a second or two when I hold as it is. But I control my shot. I feel my squeeze. I feel my back tension. I feel my anchor point. I just felt the string leave my hands. Fortunately, I had enough juice. This is not my go-to bow. It's the same kind of bow. It's a 19-inch Yamagi one-eyed Jack riser with yucca limbs. Had enough arrow to do the job. I can't wait. I had to unscrew that broadhead. It's either in or through her shoulder blade. I can feel it in her spinal cord. It's a Simmons Tree Shark. It's a 2-inch wide broadhead. This bow's 50 pounds at 28.5, and these arrows average about 557 grains. I want to shoot a different arrow with it, but it's what I had that I could tune to it and get the very shaft off of it and everything. But for North Georgia, this is a massive doe. This is a huge doe for our area. This old girl's busted me several times. She has a little small dark fawn that's got buttons, or yearling that had buttons, and the other one's a little bit bigger, is tan. The rest of these does and yearlings, their little buttons are actually bigger than the little doe fawns. But on hers, for some reason, he's got a real black line down his back. You see him on the video there. But she's caught me multiple times. I didn't think she was going to come in at all. She come in here behind me, and my draft was going that way, and I'm like, she walked 6 more feet, she's going to catch me. And fortunately, she didn't. She stood out there and browsed around on some yellow maple leaves off of a tree, pulling them. And then she eventually come in here, fed on down in her where her kids were plucking these acorns these squirrels was dropping. And like I said, I screwed it up. You see the 2 holes. This is the tree shark hole. I shot it the second shot. I bumbled. I grabbed another tree shark out of it. I thought she's fumbling around. I better not. I better get a smaller head. I shot her with a timber shark, which ain't much smaller. They're both 190 grain heads, and it just went through and jobbed in the ground. I had to pull it out of the ground over there. But like I said, I'm blessed that I botched it and the good Lord looked after me and I managed to get it going. Let me kind of explain to some of you guys that don't understand what I'm talking about by these heads. And they're sharp. Okay, I mean they're beyond sharp. There's one in her shoulder blade. I can't wait to pull it out and autopsy it and see, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is the actual, let me just go ahead and move y'all over here to the light. This is an actual Simmons timber shark. I paint them white so I can see them a lot easier in low light. But it's a 2-inch wide broadhead and it's extremely sharp. And as you can plainly see, I mean, it went through her shoulder. It's into her spine. It broke her back. The other hole is where the timber shark went in on her. But it is what it is. Let's, messed up or not, at least I got her down. So let's go and get her, jug out of here, get her to the Jeep and get her home. Meet in the ice chest, baby.